Well, hello once again. I am back to talk about the last three episodes and a little bit just as a whole the second season of Arcane. Please ignore the creepy thing behind me. I am staying somewhere on Thanksgiving break currently, and yeah, there's a creepy Halloween decoration behind me that just watches me all day. But anyway, yeah, we're talking about the ending of the series and kind of the series as a whole. Um, Point number one to hit. Overall, I've really enjoyed the last three episodes and as a whole the series. I don't really have any like major complaints that make me think like, oh, I really didn't like the show for any reason. It really like there's nothing that leaves major plot holes. There's nothing that breaks the entire series. It is still a really good series, no matter like what nitpicks there is overall. But I really enjoyed it. Again, nothing super duper major, but I will bring up a couple of complaints I had for the ending. First of all, though, just real quick, and I've talked about it every video to this point, the soundtrack I really enjoyed. I know some people didn't like that there was definitely like noticeably some more songs that were in like more licensed music and whatnot, more moments where the songs were played. I did not mind that much because it's just kind of their style at this point. It was done quite a bit in the first season, not to this extent, but it was done quite a bit. But yeah, I think the songs like fit really well. There were definitely a couple of instances where they definitely like it seemed a little bit more forced. A lot of the songs in the first season seemed to complement the moment a lot more, and there was a couple of moments in this season where the songs seemed like they were made and then the scenes were kind of crafted around them, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It was just a little bit noticeable. But overall, I really like the soundtrack. I listen to it all the time. I think the full thing is released on like Apple Music now, so I've been listening to it a bunch. And yeah, I really enjoyed the soundtrack. There isn't really a song, especially in this show, that I didn't like all that much. There's a few that I listen to less outside of the show, but in the show they were all used pretty well. Visually, especially through some of the things in the finale, there are some moments in the finale in the last three episodes that visually look absolutely amazing. I don't have any complaints. The animation was definitely cranked up for the second season. I've gone back and watched the first season since watching these episodes, and the animation has definitely improved. And just some of the visuals, like there are some times where I paused it going back on like a second watch and just sat there for a second because I was like so impressed at how it looked. There like there are so many moments that are just like screenshot worthy, like put on the back of your computer. Like there are so many of them that I go back and just look at them sometimes just because of how impressive they were and how amazing they looked. There's especially quite a few in the last episode that I noticed specifically. But yeah, the art direction from season one all the way to the ending of the series has been phenomenal, and I really don't have any complaints about the art direction. Overall, and I know I said it about the last grouping, but at that point I hadn't watched the finale. Overall, I think episode 7 probably had my favorite moment and might be my favorite episode. I can't say that for certain right now because I'm going to need to go back and kind of watch the entirety of the series together to fully say that, because I know I said episode 6 might have been my favorite. But going back, I think 7 might hold that spot right now. It definitely had my favorite moments in it. But yeah, episode 7, pretty good moments in it, especially earlier on in the episode. And I was just very impressed at how the final 3 kind of came out swinging with that one. And honestly, overall, I do kind of feel like Arcane's probably the best show that I've watched in the last couple of years, maybe more. And if anyone has a problem with that, I do have a tendency of not watching a lot of shows. But Arcane's one that, like, it caught my attention. I hopped on pretty late for season 1, especially. But once I started watching it, I was hooked on it pretty much immediately. The art and everything just going into it, the character work, especially in season 1, was amazing. And so just overall, now that I've got to see the series finish up, it's probably been one of the best series that I've watched in recent memory. Now I'm going to get into the nitpicks a little bit here. Again, I'm still keeping this spoiler free because it is still within the first week. But season 2 was by no means bad. I do want to say that too. If I do talk about nitpicks for a little bit longer, it's because they stand out more because there's less of them, honestly. Again, no matter like how much I talk bad about it or like about things that I didn't like, I don't think it's bad at all. Even when things like aren't going great by Arcane standards, it's still leagues better than so much that we have coming out right now. So if it sounds like I'm talking down about it, just remember that overall I think it is absolutely amazing, and as I just said, I think it's probably one of the best shows that I've seen in recent memory. But with that, and still staying in the spoiler-free section, I want to say that it does feel like there should have been a few more episodes or another season. There were some things that were kind of rushed and missed, and it just felt like there needed to be some more time in a lot of aspects, and I think it would have been fixed a lot by having another episode or a couple seasons. There's rumors that there was supposed to be 3-5 seasons originally, and they decided to not go with that. I don't know. I don't really care, because we got what we got. I do think, like, even if there was 12 episodes in season 2, I really think they could have wrapped up a lot more, especially in that, like, I think it was around, like, episode 5 and 6 or something like that. There could have been one episode that cleared up a lot of stuff, and I just think a lot of the, like, pacing and everything that some people are having a problem with, and some of the stuff that I noticed, it would have been very helpful if there was another episode or another season. Why is it not focusing? I will say there was definitely a little bit of a lack of character work in season 2. It definitely seems like season 1 was a lot more of the work on the characters, a lot of character motivations, their choices affecting the story, a lot of that. And then season 2 was a little bit more of the plot-focused style of things, which is not necessarily bad, it's just the way that they went about it. But it is definitely a little noticeable that they're, like, a lot of the more complex character working is not as present in the second season of Arcane. And again, not necessarily as bad, especially because they're wrapping things up. That's usually expected. You do want to see more character choices kind of at the end to wrap things up, especially when you had such complex character work in the first season. But there is definitely some moments there, and I think it's wrapped up pretty neatly. But yeah, compared to the first season, there is just a little bit of a lack of character work, and again, I think that goes into them not having as much time as they could have. I have been also hearing quite a few people like disappointed or annoyed that they didn't get to see certain characters from League of Legends lore that like could have been there, and historically, like through League lore, probably should have been there. Personally, I don't really care about it. I have not been big on League lore at all. I played it for maybe 10-15 hours at one point, and I was so incredibly bored. I do not care about League of Legends all that much. If you do, good for you. I do not. And with that, I don't think they could fit any other characters here, because people were wanting, like, pretty well-known and big-name characters to have an appearance and show up and have some sort of role in the story. I don't think they could have, because, again, they didn't have as much time to work with the characters that we already had in the series. So adding more characters into that whole thing would have just been a mess, and it would have been, like, not followable. Like, it would have just seemed like there were 30 different storylines going on at the same time, and it was like, hey, just try to figure out what was going on. They could not have added more characters. And if they did, they would have played an extremely minor role at this point. They would not have gotten fleshed out whatsoever. Like, there's absolutely nothing that could have been gained by adding in some things other than, oh, look, it's this guy. Like, it was not needed. We didn't need any more characters from League. And I'll kind of get to that in a second as another reason why we didn't need him in this show. But yeah, to kind of go in with that, like, there were so many characters and stories going on throughout the second season as is, that it definitely feel around mid-season point that it did speed up a lot, and they were trying to tie things up, and they overall, that's my main complaint, is I think there's just some timing things and they just needed more time to figure everything out and get more of a smoother conclusion to the story. But again, I do not think the show was bad by any means. These are more nitpicks than anything, and the show was still amazing and really enjoyable, and there's no, like, super big plot points or anything that really disappointed me by any means. It's all still really good. And now with that, I know I haven't done that in any of the other videos, but I want to bring up some stuff that is in the spoiler realm for the series as a whole. So if you have not seen the series, Season 2 at all, to this point, I'm talking about stuff in the show more specifically, so. Overall, my biggest thing that I wanted to say in the spoiler realm, again, spoilers, I've said it enough at this point, is that I was disappointed to see a multiverse story again. I think that it was done pretty simply, and I'm very glad, and I think it was done pretty well. But honestly, one of my favorite things about going and watching Arcane is that it wasn't another multiverse thing, because that's so popular right now. I see it all the time in stuff that I watch, and I'm just kind of done with it. I figured, like, because Echo's in it, there's going to be some sort of time travel and whatnot, but I was not expecting a multiverse thing to finish it up, and it was just kind of eh. I think they did it well, but I can't say that that was on my list of I really wanted to see this in Arcane. I don't think it was really needed. I think they could have done it a different way, but the way that they decided to do it, they did it well enough, and I can't really complain about it all that much. Another nitpick is certain characters were kind of not needed at all. There were a couple characters that, like, I don't even remember the fish guy's name. Like, he was blue, he was a fish. I don't think he actually ever said anything, and I don't know if he had a name, because I can't remember it whatsoever, and I remember some of the other throwaway characters' names. So there were some characters that were just there, like, obviously he wasn't crucial to the story whatsoever, but, like, they made Loris specifically is the biggest one that I can think of, where they made him seem like a way bigger deal than he was. Like, it seemed like they wanted to try to build up a connection with Vi throughout the ending of the story and everything, and then when he ended up going out at the end, like, I didn't really care all that much. I was kind of like oh no, not Loris, and then that was it. Like, he was just gone, and that was it. There was nothing else to it. So, I really don't get some of that, and, like, they are side characters, but it seemed like they wanted to build them up way more than they actually did. Because they did, like, focus on Loris being dead, like, for a couple of seconds, and I didn't really care, because there was nothing throughout the story other than hints at, hey, he might, like, want to have a connection with the other characters or something. Like, they hinted at it, they never really did anything with it. But yeah, there's just a couple of characters like that that really didn't need to be here all that much. I will say, that bullet ricochet into Maddie's face was pretty satisfying, though. And again, I feel like other characters, even some of the main characters, felt a little rushed, especially Kate and Vi. Based off of the trailer for the last 3 episodes, it kind of seemed like they wanted to put ahead, like, hey, there is some animosity, there's gonna be some arguments, like, they gotta get over some things, because Kate, for an unspecified amount of time, probably a couple months or more, maybe a year, was really not a great person, and was actively, like, letting Embessa spew, like, all these things into her head and have her do things, and things were just not well. And, like, all we got from that was Vi being like, oh, you let her, like, speak poison into your ear, and you were just fine with it. And then Kate was like, yeah, I know. And then they were like, okay, let's go do other things now. Like, there was nothing else there. Vi and Kate getting back to trusting each other happened in, like, 10 seconds in the cave when they made the plan to go save Vander from being turned into an evil guy, which worked really well, by the way. But yeah, like, they're specifically Kate, like, her character flip-flopped really fast. She went from being, like, this oppressive ruler almost to being put back into her, oh, I'm a good guy, I trust Vi, in, like, 10 seconds. It was really fast. And I think, again, a lot of that could have been explained better with more time. And then another thing, like, it's more just a story direction thing, and it doesn't really bother me that much, but we never really got to see, like, a Piltover versus the Lanes in the Undercity type thing. And it seemed like that's what they were really building up towards, especially in the first season. But yeah, we never really got that, and we ended up just getting, like, a new evil for everyone to unite to and everything, and I get that that was the story that they were going for, but it was just a little bit disappointing. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of, like, Piltover versus the Lanes and everything, and I thought that's where they were going at the end of season 1. But I'm not saying that I'm, like, super, like, angry or anything at it. I was just a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to see more of that, because I think it would have been fun. But yeah, I have a couple more quick notes. I think I'm honestly going to hold off on a few of them, just for other videos, if and when I get those out. I do kind of want to do a longer review and go over everything. I might even start in season 1, I don't know. But I do want to just get in, like, more in depth and do a longer video if I have the time to. Again, it might come out way later. I'm in school and Christmas is coming and everything, and it's just kind of a really hectic time. But the last few things I wanted to say is that we will definitely be getting another show. I think they confirmed 3 spin-off series, which does worry me a little bit that if they're working on all of those at the same time, that they might come off a little rushed. If they're doing them one at a time, I'm a lot less worried about them, and I just hope that they take their time with the stories and don't rush through things just because they're on a hot streak and they have good things going with Arcane. Take the time, make the shows good, and you'll keep the hype going from Arcane no matter what. But yeah, with that, I think that's gonna do it for my initial thoughts on everything. Again, might have the more in-depth video coming out here within the next, like, couple of months, or at least starting a series of going over things more in depth. Just trying to do that. I do want to do more of these videos where it's me talking and me going through things, like films and everything that I enjoy. And then more creative projects. I enjoy creating things, and if I can ever finish a project, I will share it with y'all. I'm really bad at finishing things. I tend to start 10 things before I go back and finish one, and so things take forever, and I'm trying to get better about that. And if I do, you will see things eventually. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. I hope to have more content out soon. I will put stuff in the posts tab if things are taking way too long, or if things are coming out sooner than expected. I will put things there, so just keep an eye out for the updates there. Probably won't really do a full update video on things for a while, because I've talked about it at the end of all these videos, so the people who really care about it all that much will end up seeing it in these videos. So, but yeah, if I have any big announcements or anything, I will post videos for that. But otherwise, stay in the posts for general updates on content and whatnot. But that's going to do it for me. Again, Arcane, really dang good. Hope y'all have a wonderful day. God bless.